The issue of the Speaker's appointment has overshadowed other crucial political agendas in the country. A new development on the long-standing issue was witnessed with the former Maoist camp claiming to back the position during the meeting of the two chairmen for the second consecutive day yesterday. Good morning, I'm Amar Singh Pradhan and these are the headlines of the hour. Leaders from erstwhile Maoist Center claim of bagging the Speaker's position during an agreement between chairman duo yet to name the candidate due to too many aspirants. IMF projects Nepal's economic growth 2.5% less than the government's anticipation, attribute to decline in agricultural productions and development expenditures. A new deadly virus reported in Wuhan in eastern China, the pneumonia-causing virus associated with the previously unidentified coronavirus related to SARS. India fight back in the series against Australia, level the series 1-1, decisive one-day tomorrow in Bangalore. Seven people have reportedly gone missing in the Annapurna base camp region since yesterday, including 3 Korean nationals and 3 Nepalese. According to Him Gurung, chairman of Ward 11 of Annapurna Rural Municipality, the concerned units lost contact with the 7 after they crossed Deurali and Hinku camp. Our district correspondent for Kaski, Bhupan Gurung, reported that a search team was deployed from yesterday itself. However, the team itself has lost contact with the police. Locals had rescued 1 Chinese national and 2 Nepalese yesterday from avalanche in the region. According to the police, heavy snowfall has posed a challenge in search and rescue operation. A team of 9 Korean nationals were headed for the Annapurna base camp. 5 of them are reportedly safe. And we move on to other political news. The former Maoist panel in the ruling Nepal Communist Party has claimed that an agreement has been reached to give them the Speaker's position. However, there are still too many aspirants within the former Maoist panel claiming the post. Leaders from the ruling party said that an agreement was reached between the chairman duo KP Sharma Oli and Pushpakamal Dahal to give the Speaker's position to the former Maoist camp in yesterday's meeting. However, a final decision on the candidacy is yet to be made as there are a number of aspirants. Executive Chairman Dahal's most favoured candidate for the post is Agni Sapkota, while he is also mulling over the candidacy of Pampa Bhusal and Haribol Gazurel after it was reported that Chairman KP Sharma Oli has not given a green signal to the Sapkota's candidacy. Meanwhile, former UML camp is still backing either of former Speaker Subhash Chandra Nemwang or the sitting Deputy Speaker Siva Maya Tumbahambe for the position, further highlighting the dispute in the ongoing issue of the Speaker's appointment. The International Monetary Fund has said that Nepal's economy has been improving above its long-term average in the past few years, but in a moderate way. An IMF team in Kathmandu from 5th of January issued a statement citing that political stability, improved electricity supply and reconstruction works following the 2015 April earthquake has led to the country's economic growth in recent times. In the statement, the IMF team has also projected that Nepal's economy would remain healthy but moderate in the current fiscal year with an estimated growth of 6%, which is 2.5% less than had been projected by the government. This has been attributed to a comparatively slower economic growth of southern neighbor India, coupled with sluggish remittance, weaker agricultural products and decrease in development expenditures.
The slowdown in India is going to affect the economy. Slow remittances will affect the economy because remittances play a very important role in consumption. And then agricultural production. Last year was a very good year for agricultural production. This year will be less of a good year. So with these different elements in mind, we think that growth will moderate.
Meanwhile, the IMF has stressed on the need of additional policies to support the inclusive growth along with macroeconomic and financial stability. The statement issued by the IMF team has also stated that the foreign direct investment in the country would help the government to achieve its development objectives by supporting economic activities and creating jobs. During their visit, the representatives of the International Monetary Fund also held separate meetings with Finance Minister Yuvraj Khattiwada, Governor of Nepal Rashtra Bank Chiranjeevi Nepal, high-level government officials, along with representatives of private sector and different development partners. Earlier, the World Bank had projected a growth of 6.5% in Nepal's economy. Finance Minister Khattiwada had, however, termed it as a weak estimation, and he has been insisting at public forums that the country's economy would see a better growth rate than anticipated by donor agencies. The U.S. government has said that Millennium Challenge Corporation, or MCC, is focused purely on economic development by helping to build power lines and improve roads. The U.S. government has clarified that there is no military component to the MCC and that the U.S. law prohibits it. A press release issued by the U.S. Embassy in Nepal reads that the $500 million is a grant with no strings attached and no hidden clauses. The press release adds that Nepal does not need to, what it says, join or sign up anything, and that all the Himalayan nation needs to do is to commit to spend the money transparently for the projects which have been agreed upon. In Nepal, as in every country where MCC works, parliamentary ratification is required for the project to go ahead. And we'll take a short break here. We'll be right back. Welcome back. A report issued by South Asia Watch on Trade, Economics and Environment has stated that remittances have substantially increased in Nepal in the past 2 decades. With increasing out-migration, however, it has led to lower labor supply to non-farming self-employment activities, especially run by women. While remittances have increased by 10%, gross revenues have gone down by 0.5%. We have a report.
Nepal had received 879.3 billion rupees in remittances from the formal channel in the last fiscal year. Although remittance has boosted Nepal's economy, another side to it is that it has been making Nepalis lazy. A report following analysis on the remittance trend of Nepal released by South Asia Watch on Trade, Economics and Environment, SAUTI, concluded that remittances had prompted women to work less, particularly in non-farm self-employment sector. Left behind, women worked 3.6 hours lesser per week in non-farm self-employment, 1.6 hours in agricultural self-employment, and 3.4 hours in wage employment on average. Out-migration from Nepal has surged in the last 2 decades, with 1/3 of households having at least one member working abroad. The report states Nepal's remittance is greater than foreign aid, FDI, and export earnings combined, and as of 2018, the remittance to GDP ratio stood at 24%.
These household enterprises are basically micro and very small enterprises that people engage in, including women engage in, out of actually desperation for want of an adequate number of wage jobs. If inflow of remittances are to be utilized for these enterprises, then an overall conducive business environment that addresses a range of constraints that affect SMEs should be created.
Between years 1995 to 2010, households with enterprises increased from 24.2% to 34.6%. However, while remittance saw an increase of 10%, gross revenue of the enterprises has gone down by 0.5%. On a positive side, the research indicates, due to reduced labor supply, the reservation wage, which is the lowest wage women workers, On a positive side, the research indicates, due to reduced labor supply, the reservation wage, which is the lowest wage women workers are willing to accept, increases. Analysts said that non-economic factors such as gender discrimination and societal expectations, among others, also contribute in women not being as economically active. They say that looking at the numbers objectively provides partial truth, as there are many underlying factors. Experts opine that international remittance can provide an important source for foreign exchange and contribute to reducing poverty. However, relying on labor experts is not a viable strategy for sustainable development. With Binod Koju on camera, this is Saza Lamichhane for Kantipur Television, Kathmandu.
And now time for international update. There has been a cluster of 59 cases of pneumonia in Wuhan in eastern China since December 2019. The pneumonia is associated with a previously unidentified coronavirus related to the deadly SARS. Seven of those cases are thought to be serious, and one person with serious pre-existing health problems has died. The WHO has also just announced the first case outside China. A traveler from Wuhan, now in Thailand, has been confirmed by the WHO to have contracted the virus. The World Health Organization has urged countries around the world to enhance their surveillance of severe acute respiratory infections, although no travel restrictions have been advised. There is no licensed vaccines or specific treatments for the new virus. The new coronavirus outbreak is linked to a market in Wuhan which sold meat and live animals. Following the outbreak, the market was closed. There is no clear evidence of the virus spreading between humans, and it is thought that it is originated in animals. And we have more news coming up, but right now it's time for another short break. The government has formulated an act in all three state levels aimed at charging taxes on community forest, which has added the burden of tax among local communities. In this context, we had asked the protesting community forest officials in Butwal what's the reason for them to resort to the protest. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
Public voice.
वन ऐनमा नभएको करलाई चाहिँ राखेकोलाई 13 करको विरुद्धमा हामी आन्दोलन सडकमा जान परेको यो विशुद्ध सेवामुखी सामुदायिक वन भएको र हुनाले यसरी अप्ठ्यारो करहरुमा ल्याउन पाइदैन भनेर यसरी विरोध सभामा हामी देशभर लागिरहेको अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय रूपमा नेपालको सामुदायिक वन भनेर चिनाएको छ यस्तो समूहलाई कर लगाएर लान खोजिएको कहाँ हो हचुवाको तालमा कर लगाउने र सामुदायिक वनमा काम गर्नलाई निरुत्साहित पार्ने र जसले निरुत्साहित हुँदा वन क्षेत्रमा फेरि अतिक्रमण आउने वन विनाश हुने देखिएकोले यो वन जोगाउनको लागि
And now time for our segment Public Pulse, where it texts us with their opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, what could be the reason for the dispute in the Federal Civil Service Bill? Your options are A, due to change in ministers, option B, parliamentary committees' inability, and option C, hegemony of the central government. The voting for the question is on. Type in a WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share opinion with us. And let's move on to sports update.
Sports news.
India has made a strong comeback in the three-match one-day series, defeating Australia by 36 runs in the second one-day international in Rajkot, following an embarrassing 10-wicket defeat at the hands of Aussies in the first match of the series. In the match held in Rajkot, India posted 340 runs for the loss of 6 wickets after sent into bat first. Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan put on 81 runs for the first wicket as Rohit contributed 42 runs. Dhawan also struck a century partnership with skipper Virat Kohli for the second wicket. Dhawan departed after scoring 96 runs, while Kohli made 78 runs to build the base for a strong total. Adam Jumpa was the pick of the Aussie bowler with 3 wickets. Chasing a stiff target of 341 runs for victory, Australia were bowled out for 304 runs in 49.1 overs. David Warner and Aaron Finch, who had both scored centuries in the first match, fell cheaply. Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne tried to revive the Australian inning, but Smith was bowled out by Kuldeep Yadav 2 runs short of his century, while Labuschagne made 46 runs. Mohammad Sami took 3 wickets. Navadip Saini, Ravindra Jadeja and Kuldeep Yadav took 2 wickets each. The third and decisive match is scheduled for tomorrow in Bangalore. And it's now time for our special segment, Media Watch.
Speaking at an event held in the capital's Tunikhel on the occasion of Mage Sankranti festival on Wednesday, Executive Chairman of the ruling Nepal Communist Party Pushpakamal Dahal said he took responsibility for the killings of 5,000 people during the decade-long armed insurgency period, which started from 1996.
मैले 17,000 मान्छे मारेर आएको भन्ने तथ्याङ्क भन्ने गरिएको छ। साथीहरू र आदरणीय जनसमुदाय यो सत्य होइन। यो सत्य होइन। सत्य के हो? सत्य के हो मलाई भन्न दिनुहोस्। सत्य के हो भने हिजोको सामन्ती राजाहरूले 12,000 मारेका हुन्। मलाई 5,000 को जिम्मा दिनुहुन्छ भने म लिन्छु।
The remark by Dahal, who has served as Prime Minister twice since the Comprehensive Peace Accord was signed on 21st of November 2006, has created quite a few ripples in the country's politics. A bomb went off at Sobhakanta Dhakal's residence in the capital's Nursery Chowk in Banasthali, Dhungedhara on Wednesday night. Dhakal is involved in the Lalita Niwas property scandal. The bomb went off at around 8 Wednesday night, slightly injuring a pedestrian. The main gate of the house was damaged by the blast, and a parked car also suffered damages. Police have suspected the Nepal Communist Party Netra Bikram Chand-led outfit responsible for the blast. This is Abhyuday Shrestha for Kantipur News Desk.
And here's a look at the top stories one more time. Leaders from erstwhile Maoist Center faction claim of bagging the speaker's position during an agreement between chairman duo, yet to name the candidate due to too many aspirants. IMF projects Nepal's economic growth 2.5% less than the government's anticipation, attributed to decline in agricultural productions and development expenditures. A new deadly virus reported in Wuhan in eastern China, the pneumonia-causing virus associated with a previously unidentified coronavirus related to SARS. And India fight back in the series against Australia, level the series 1-1 decisive one-day tomorrow in Bangalore. And that's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTVSD. Good day.